Here we are.
All right, guys, welcome to our second episode of Oversteertv, the podcast. That's what we're calling until we come up with a better name. It works for me. What do you say, Jeff?
I'd say turn your mic up a little because I can barely hear you.
Okay.
But I say this is it's monumental here. It's a big day. I even shaved.
Oh, well,
because it's our 1 week anniversary of our first show last week.
And you look spectacular. I shaved actually a couple of days ago because I'm looking going for that rugged manly look.
Yeah.
It's working, obviously. Just a quick note. That's Jeff Brown, the lovely and vivacious Jeff Brown. And I'm Tony Castanera here. And we're just going to keep on talking. And today's subject, this is the one Jeff picked up, the state of racing and the future of racing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, the current state of racing is pretty good, I think. I think unless you're IndyCar, of course, the ratings keep going down for IndyCar.
Yeah.
But Formula One, they're trying to add like a fourth race in the United States, which I just read something today where Mario Andretti doesn't think that's a good idea. But Formula One does what they want to do when they want to do it.
Of course, the John Malone, the guy who Liberty Media's John Malone, basically. The guy, the money that guy's made over his lifetime. When it comes to something in business, I'm not going to vote against this guy. Okay, he owns the Atlanta Braves. He owns Sirius Radio. He owns a lot of different things. They just bought MotoGP, if you can believe that now. So, whenever
you're saying the Andretti's are just butthurt.
Yeah, well, Andretti's going to get that team in Formula One. It's just going to take a little longer than they wanted. It's going to happen. But back to the topic, the state of racing. When I look at the state of racing, it's like I hear all the fans, whatever series, if you go on social media, whatever, wherever it's NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, whatever, you're always going to have fans complaining. For me, that could be a good thing because when they complain, that means they care, and that means they're paying attention. That means they're watching TV and they're filling up the seats and things. And people tend to forget that racing is a business, and right now, business is good. Okay, IndyCar, even with their mediocre ratings and not the greatest attendance, they still have teams clamoring to join because that means they're making money. You're making money if you're racing in IndyCar. You're definitely making money if you're in Formula One. You're making money if you're in NASCAR. You're making money in any of the top series right now. I can't think of any series where a team's losing money or the participants are losing money. Any major series, at least.
Well, to me, it's more about the racing than the money. See, right now, I think even though IndyCar's ratings are down, I think they put on a better show than Formula One. For me, I'm a huge Formula One fan, and that's because of you. You made me a Formula One fan. But this last couple seasons, it's almost unwatchable. The next race coming up, I can tell you who's going to be on the pole, Max Verstappen. I can tell you who's going to win the race, Max Verstappen. He's going to be on the pole. He's going to lead every lap. And I'm going to fall asleep watching it because it's just basically unwatchable. There's no competition in this series.
Well, when I hear that, I think of you specifically. When I hear people complain about Max Verstappen, because you are the biggest Miami Dolphins fan I know. You bleed aqua and orange.
Oh, yes.
And who's the greatest coach of all time?
Don Shula.
What's the greatest NFL team of all time?
1972 Miami Dolphins.
And what happened?
Only perfect season.
And why? Because they won every game, right?
Every single game, yes.
What's Max Verstappen doing? What's Max Verstappen doing? Okay,
he's making it unwatchable, is what he's doing.
To me, it's like sit back and enjoy and watch the greatness. This is something you're going to be telling your kids about later on. People talk about, I forgot what year it is, the 86 or 88 Formula One season when McLaren won every race but one with Prost and Senna. People complained back then, oh, it was horrible. They're winning every races. Now people look at it and go, it's one of the greatest moments in racing history. we're watching a great moment in racing history. We're
Oh,
watching dominance.
he's setting records in every race. Every race he
All
comes
right.
out and rewrites the record books.
All right. We're
But
watching.
to me, it's competition. It's like that IndyCar race where there's lead changes,
Right.
there's things going on. You know,
Well, it's Formula One. Eventually, somebody's going to catch up, and they can't, because every year it's a new car and things change. Eventually, before Red Bull, it was Mercedes winning most of the races. It's going to change. I'm just
well, it
going to.
seems it does that every few years. It changes. Now it's Red Bull. Before it was Mercedes and Hamilton. He broke
Before
all the
that,
records.
it was Ferrari, with Schumacher was winning everything.
Well, no, after Schumacher, it was Vettel in
Right?
Red Bull.
Yeah, and people
Vettel came in and almost won every race in a few
so
seasons.
people
A bunch of
complain,
championships.
and I look at it and I go, also, yeah, I'm like you. I know Max Verstappen is probably going to win. When he doesn't win, that makes the race really exciting. But also, there are other battles going on. Second, third, fourth, other places. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I understand how some people, the casual fan or somebody, will not be interested in seeing Max Verstappen winning every race.
Yeah, when his rear brake blew up in that last other race, I was just excited. I'm like, now we got a race. Let's see who can,
and the people at the TV channels were like really happy.
Oh yeah, because then you create interest.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen at that point,
Right.
and then you're glued to the TV. What's going to happen?
Yeah, the same,
So, to me, that's the thing about racing is it's why they run the races, because
yes, no,
and they play the game. It's because anything could happen any given Sunday, like they say.
Yeah, you look at other sports like NASCAR, it just keeps on going. They have the formula down, enough controversy to keep people to get that little moral outrage every once in a while with the NASCAR fans, but they keep the races interesting. Same with the WEC and IMSA. They've been doing a great job with their balance of performance. Even NHRA. I don't really follow the NHRA that much, but when I do look at it, oh, that's somebody new. That's somebody new who won. I never, they always get different winners and everything. So,
I did watch some NHRA the other day, and I can tell you that the grandstands were packed full.
Yes.
And I mean, to me, it's almost besides NASCAR, it's the leading series in the United States.
Probably it's up there. Yeah.
I mean, people love their drag racing.
And that's another sport. To me, drag racing is like hockey. I'm not a big fan of hockey. I don't watch hockey on TV. I don't really watch drag racing that much on TV. But if you can go to a hockey game, it's a different level of excitement. Same with NHRA. Right. When you go down there and one of those top fuel or funny cars light off, you feel it. I don't care where you're sitting. You can be back by the concession
good ear protection.
Yeah.
I wear the earplugs and the headphones over top.
Oh yeah. And I've actually been in the island in between when a top fuel race car's gone off, and I was lucky there was a wall behind me, a pole behind me to catch me, because I wasn't prepared for what that was like. So
we had a lot of good times up at the Moroso Motorsport.
Back in Moroso and all those places. But it's a totally.
I remember the school bus that would do the wheelie all the way down the corner.
And the jet cars would set the timing shack on fire every time. Yeah. I'd be up there. I'd be up in time to score.
Standing underneath of it. It's burning over top of my head, and you're like, "Hey, it's on fire!" And I'm like, "Oh crap!"
I remember the first time I was up in time to scoring. I go, "Guys, the building's on fire." They're like, they'll get it. Don't worry. The guys down below are hosing it down.
Just run down dilapidated wooden building that's on fire.
We could do a whole show about Moroso, the PBIR.
Oh, may it rest in peace.
Yeah, yes. But back to the subject, right? Like we both agree, racing right now is good. The state of all forms of motorsports is doing well. The future.
The future.
EVs, hybrid, battery power. Last week we were talking about Formula E. That's a pretty exciting series. Formula One, they run a version of hybrid. WRC runs a form of hybrid. Even the NHRA has started their own special EV racing series. IMSA, the WEC, they run hybrid power also. IndyCar, supposedly after Indy is going to start running a hybrid power pack too in their Indy cars. The only one that's not doing anything like that is NASCAR, the good old boys.
I think they're on their way to doing that because, you know, for years and years, they kept the same basic package, engine package that they had back in the 60s. You had a V8 engine with a normally aspirated carburetor on top, you know, that they had to sit there and tune to the weather conditions, whether it was humid outside and that kind of stuff. They finally graduated into fuel injection, and now they're letting them run computer chips and things that's sending data back to the team in the pits, and so they're slowly getting there. I think maybe they'll go hydrogen before they'll go electric because, you know, a 500-mile race, how far, you know, you're going to go 200 miles and then your battery's going to die.
Not even. That's the whole thing. You got three manufacturers who spend a lot of money: Ford, GM, and Toyota. They have a say in what happens in the series, of course. Toyota, I know, is investing a lot of money right now in hydrogen power, but I don't think GM or Ford is interested right now in hydrogen power. All three, Toyota, of course, has their hybrids. Ford and GM both have hybrids. I can see some type of hybrid package. You know, of course, the old guys will go, "Oh, it's like a Prius, racing a Prius, whatever." I'm surprised the manufacturers haven't said, "Listen, we're selling hybrids right now. We want to run hybrids." You know, because it is a marketing. You know, the only reason Ford and Chevy and Toyota are in there are racing is to sell cars. So
well, that's what they say. You race them on Sunday and sell them on Monday. But as far as electric, you know, a lot of the manufacturers now are coming out with all electric, you know, cars, not just hybrids, but they're coming out with all electric. And that was started with Tesla because Elon Musk gave away the patent to the Tesla. So all the other car manufacturers could start building EVs. And that's what they're doing. So that's what it's going to kind of take. Somebody is going to have to come along with the hydrogen fuel cell that's going to top everything because for me, I like electric, but you still have to generate electricity somewhere, you know, and you're going to burn coal or oil or whatever it is to get that electric. But with hydrogen, you could set up a solar panel hooked up to your city water line and convert hydrogen right there at your house, you know, and have it go into a tank and then put it into your car. And then, of course, when you fill it with hydrogen, then you can go the full 500 miles or however long.
Well, I'm a big proponent of hydrogen, but I'm thinking just with NASCAR. First off, you got to get GM and Ford on board too at the same time, which is difficult. There are two ways of using hydrogen. Of course, is what you're saying. The first was a fuel cell, which is basically an electric car powered by hydrogen. It converts the hydrogen and oxygen into electric power. And then the other way is actually using hydrogen as a fuel source in an internal combustion engine.
You can keep the same engines and just switch to hydrogen.
Yeah, you have to, of course, switch a lot with the intake and the piston shapes and things like that. The problem with the EV version is like, one of the great things about racing is the sound.
Yeah.
And to hear 30 some NASCAR cars or 40 NASCAR cars going whoosh slowly around, doesn't have the same. It's like a
swarm of bees going around.
And the other issue I see with NASCAR is very, very strongly based on pit stops and refueling. And refueling hydrogen, that could be a little iffy in a hurry, you know.
Well, that might be where you just take a hydrogen tank out and insert another hydrogen tank in, you know, instead of, you know, risking fire. Formula One always had pit stops with refueling until they burnt the pits down one day and decided they couldn't
So they said,
refuel.
no, this ain't worth it anymore, and just limited the tires and made the teams have to switch tires. So
Right, in 2 second pit stops.
Yeah. Right now, I cannot see NASCAR all of a sudden coming out tomorrow and saying, "Oh, we're switching over to hydrogen." That's not going to happen.
No.
The technology is not there yet. The
Well,
infrastructure is
first
not
you're
there.
going to have to, like you said, they're going to have those cars like GM and Ford now are finally building the EVs, the all electric cars.
Yeah.
And you can go buy a Chevy all electric and you can go buy a Ford all electric. So what's going to have to happen is the hydrogen is going to be in the same situation. Is that they're going to have to start building the hydrogen cars either with a fuel cell or, like you said, or using regular internal combustion. Which for NASCAR, I think you can still have that sound if you're burning hydrogen. You're still going to have the throaty V8. Everybody loves that America V8.
America, sound of America. Yeah.
Yeah, America.
Yeah. So right now, for the near future, I see NASCAR going to a hybrid. And I think they can use the hybrid to their advantage because they can use it the way IndyCar is going to be using their hybrid. And even Formula One to a lesser extent as a kind of a push to pass type thing, which would be kind of interesting where, you're charging up your hybrid, your batteries, and then you pull into one, whatever, right? A lap or two, or like a lap before you have to go over the pits, hit that button, get another 50 horsepower and go fly, it would be interesting to see what happens, in a place like Talladega with that. Actually, now that I think about it, I go, no, you probably don't want to do that then.
Yeah, those electric cars, they generate a lot of torque. A lot of that bottom end from the stand and start. I remember years ago, a guy gave me a ride in a Prius, and he says, "Oh, it turns gasoline as soon as you hit 40, 45 miles an hour, it switches over to gasoline. But from 0 to 40, you're all electric." And he stomped down on that gas pedal, and I thought I was in a funny car. I mean, and I'm like, man, the torque this thing has, and then the electric engine fit in, and it was just normal.
Well, listen, I just
being out of the hole. This thing's really Tesla's. I think Tesla could go in and beat a funny car on a quarter mile.
Super fast. We just bought a hybrid, not a RAV4 Toyota RAV4 hybrid, and it's I'm not gonna blow your doors off a Porsche or anything, but it does have that low end grunt, and it does what it does is the way they have it set up on the RAV4 is that when you really need the power, you hit it and the car turns into all-wheel drive with the electric motors in the back. And so I really like that in the rain. That's a lot of fun. Anyway, IndyCar is going to be switching to hybrid. They've been trying for the last 2.5 years. Every time they test it, they have problems with it. Now the plan is, first they're going to do it before the Indy 500. Now the plan is after the Indy 500. I don't see what's the point now, because supposedly they've been running the same car for 10 years now. They've been promising a new chassis. I don't know why they would want to go hybrid now, and then a year from now switch to a new chassis and have to redo everything all over again. But then again, that's Roger Penske. I shouldn't be questioning the captain, because
we're not going to question Roger Penske unless it's in an interview. Then we'll ask him some softball questions.
please don't ban us.
No, he likes us, from what I remember.
Well, so I guess that's it then. We've decided the state of racing is good. The future is bright.
Well, the future for racing is bright, but what about the race tracks themselves? I recall you saying that Homestead was going to maybe last 10 more years at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
I could see it as more and more people build houses closer and closer to the track, and
but if we go hydrogen or we go electric, then they're not making noise anymore.
Yeah, that's like most
then they
tracks.
Can race all night.
Yeah, but like most tracks, Homestead rents out 200, 250 days a year to different things. It's going to be a long time before every car is an EV. It's going to be a
Yeah.
long time before every car is hydrogen powered
Well,
or
I
fuel
kind of
cell
look
powered.
at it as the Saturday night short tracks like Hialeah Speedway. I used to
Yeah,
race at Hialeah Speedway.
yeah,
It closed up in 2005.
right.
Uh,
Well,
Moroso,
Hialeah closed out because that property became way too valuable
right?
because it
But
became
it was also the writing was on the wall. They had very low attendance the
very low
last few
attendance.
years.
Yeah,
Very low attendance. Same thing with Moroso or Palm
yeah,
Beach.
yeah,
We're gone now.
yeah. Well,
So our track's going to be, the grassroots racing where the drivers start is like short tracks like Hialeah Speedway.
yeah.
Bobby Allison started at Hialeah Speedway and worked his way up to NASCAR.
Well,
Where do these kids start now to end up in NASCAR or IndyCar?
the Hialeah Speedway, the attendance went down because the demographic of the area changed. What used to, it became a city of immigrants, mostly Cuban immigrants, stuff like that. They have no history with short track racing or any affection towards it. The people who did grow up in the 40s and 50s and 60s in Hialeah who loved short track racing, they moved up to Central Florida. Yeah, but tracks have been closing. Short tracks are closing. The entertainment dollar has become, people have been fighting for it, and now you have other things to do on a Friday or Saturday. It used to be in a small town. That's what you did. You went to the track. That's all you had on a Friday
And
night.
that's
Either
where
that,
you started to work
yeah,
your way up to the
yeah,
big league. So that's why
yeah,
this question is
yeah,
for the future of racing.
yeah.
Racing is bright. The future looks bright. But where are we going to get the drivers if they have no place to go on a Saturday night to learn their craft?
Well, even that has changed now. It used to be that growing, let's say if you want to be a NASCAR driver, you started out racing the stock cars and short tracks and the cyclone class and all these little run classes there. No, now all these guys, they start out in go-karts at
Yeah.
purpose-built go-kart tracks and mini midget tracks and stuff like that. The whole going to NASCAR has changed now also. Most of these guys who race in NASCAR now, the younger people, they never raced at a short track on a Friday night. They have no idea what that is. They want to try it because they think it's cool, but they never really raced there. That's changed. And those tracks that are slowly going away, there's still some around, of course, but they're going to be going away. What we're seeing now is the advent of private racetracks, road courses. They built one in Miami by Opelika Airport. They have one there. They just opened up one in Tampa, a private race course, country club type thing, but they have public events there too. They're opening up another one between Orlando and Tampa in Auburndale. That's going to be opening up soon. And just north of Palm Beach, in Martin County, they're going to be opening up one where they planning on having a road course and a drag strip and a off-road track also. So the it's the same, but it's different. They're meeting a different market. People have changed. People's tastes have changed. The days of everybody just mom and pa grabbing their kids and the cooler full of Coors Light and heading over to Hialeah Speedway or any other short track. Those people are dying out, and people want to do different things. One of the biggest things I think that's hurt short tracks is NASCAR itself, because they started racing on Saturday nights a lot of times at night, and so a lot of people, it's like with baseball. When you want to go see your high school baseball team play, you want to go home and stay home and watch the Yankees play or the Atlanta Braves or whatever play. A lot of people like to stay home and watch it too. So it's changing. The market's changing. Us old farts, it's time to go.
I hate change. I hate any change. I'm an old timer.
Well, change is good. Change is business.
Yeah.
And
I'm an old timer, so change means new diapers, new Depends.
I'm not there yet. And I'm not going to change yours, so don't ask me.
Speaking of that, I was supposed to put on pants, but I guess it doesn't matter because you can't see down there.
Let me see.
It was a special occasion. I shaved. I was going to put on pants, but
Next time I'll work on my lighting and do this a little better.
Your lighting is good now.
And change the hi mom thing over on the other side here and put some other message there and everything. So, all right then. So let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Good
Future's
show.
bright.
Future's bright. Things are changing. We're old. adapter die, and that's it. That's racing.
Yeah, maybe we'll even get some viewers this week.
Yeah, we'll try. It'll take a little time. It'll take a little time. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. We're on Spotify. I'm gonna see about getting us on Apple iTunes also. For all you people who have iPhones, don't know why you have an iPhone, but if you have an iPhone, you can listen to us there. And YouTube, we are up in YouTube. I'll be putting that all up there, and we'll see you next week. So I'm Tony Casnera, and that's Jeff Brown. You gonna play us out?
Play a little music for you.
Yeah, play us something in his Miami Dolphin guitar.
Yeah.
Miami
All right,
Dolphins,
guys.
Miami Dolphins. Anyway, we'll talk to you soon. See you next week. All right.